Hi, I'm Sophia. Today, I want to share a chapter of my life that was equal parts joyful and heartbreaking. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories like this. Now, let's get into it. My husband Mark and I were over the moon when we finally adopted our son Lucas. He was about to turn 7, and we wanted his birthday to be unforgettable, a celebration of him joining our family, but not everyone shared our excitement. One afternoon, as I scrolled through party themes, Mark walked into the room, his expression uneasy. "Have you talked to my mom about the party yet?" he asked. I sighed. Not yet, but I can't avoid it forever. She's going to find out sooner or later. When I finally called his mom, Linda, her voice was clipped, her words brimming with disapproval. "Sophia, why make such a spectacle over this boy?" she asked, not bothering to hide her disdain. "Because he's our son, Linda," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "We want his first birthday with us to be special." "A party won't change what he is," she sneered. Her bitterness stung, but I still extended the invitation, hoping that seeing Lucas happy would soften her heart. The week flew by as I booked a community center, ordered Lucas's favorite superhero cake, and sent out invitations. My best friend, Sarah, came over to help set up the day before. As we hung decorations, Sarah turned to me. "Are you sure inviting Linda is a good idea? Last time didn't exactly go smoothly." I tied a balloon to a chair, hesitating for a moment. She's family. Maybe seeing Lucas this happy will change her perspective. Sarah gave me a skeptical look. "Just be careful. She can be cruel." The morning of the party, Lucas was buzzing with excitement, his energy lighting up the house. Guests arrived, bringing gifts and hugs. But when Linda walked in, her tight smile and cold demeanor instantly chilled the warm atmosphere. She pulled me aside almost immediately. "This is a mistake, Sophia," she whispered, her voice sharp. Frustration bubbled inside me. "He's a child, Linda, your grandson. Can't you just be happy for him?" Her eyes scanned the room with disdain. "These people are fools. And you? You're the biggest fool of all for thinking he can replace real family." I took a deep breath, forcing a calm I didn't feel. "Today is about Lucas. Please, for his sake, let's keep the peace." As the party picked up, kids ran around with cake-smeared faces, and Lucas was beaming, surrounded by his new friends. I kept a wary eye on Linda, who lingered at the edges, her presence a dark shadow over the celebration. But I didn't expect what came next. The music was lively, and the room buzzed with laughter when suddenly Linda stepped forward, grabbing the DJ's microphone. "Can I have your attention, please?" Her voice cut through the music, silencing the crowd. A tense hush fell over the room as all eyes turned to her. "I have something important to say about this celebration," she began. "What is she doing?" Mark muttered beside me, his jaw tight. Linda's voice dripped with disdain. "Today we're supposedly celebrating Lucas, a boy who has no rightful place in this family." Gasps rippled through the room. I clenched my fists, heat rising in my cheeks. "He's just as much a part of this family as anyone else," I said, my voice trembling with controlled anger. Linda scoffed, her tone sharp and cruel. "A child plucked from nowhere? He'll never carry on the family legacy." Mark stepped forward, his voice firm. "Mom, that's enough. This is neither the time nor the place." Ignoring him, Linda turned to Lucas, her expression softening in a way that felt sickeningly manipulative. "Lucas, sweetheart," she said sweetly, bending down to his level. "Let's get away from this nonsense. How about we go for a little walk?" Lucas looked up at her, confusion clouding his bright eyes. He hesitated, glancing back at me. "But I want to stay at my party," Lucas cried, his voice trembling. "This isn't your real family's party. You don't belong here," Linda whispered harshly, loud enough for others nearby to hear. She reached out to grab his hand, but I was at Lucas's side in an instant, pulling him behind me. "No, stay away from him," I said, my voice sharp and unwavering. Linda sneered, her gaze darting around the room as guests began to murmur and pull out their phones. "This is exactly what I mean. You people are deluding yourselves," she hissed. "Why are you doing this, Linda? Why can't you just be happy for him?" My voice broke, frustration and sadness welling up. "He's not my grandson," she declared coldly. "He will never be." "Enough, Mom," Mark's voice cut through, his tone seething with anger. "You're leaving, now." As he guided his mother out, she resisted, her voice loud and venomous. "You'll all see the truth eventually. This isn't the end." Reluctantly, she left, but the damage had already been done. The chatter of the guests returned, uneasy and subdued, as I handed out party favors. Then a scream sliced through the noise. I spun around. Lucas was gone. Linda was nowhere in sight. Panic surged through me. Mark and I bolted outside, scanning the parking lot frantically. There, at the edge, I saw Linda dragging Lucas by the arm toward her car. "Linda, stop," I shouted, my voice trembling with fear and fury. Lucas struggled, tears streaming down his face. "Mom, help." Mark reached him first, his face a mask of disbelief and rage. "Mom, what are you doing?" Linda glared at him, tightening her grip on Lucas. "I'm fixing a mistake," she spat. "Let him go," Mark demanded, his voice a dangerous calm as he stepped forward. The confrontation drew a crowd. Guests spilled out of the community center, some calling for help, others recording the scene. Linda's eyes darted around, realizing too late the spectacle she had caused. With a harsh shove, she released Lucas, who ran straight into my arms. I held him tightly, feeling his small body tremble as he buried his face in my shoulder. Linda stormed off, disappearing into her car as the crowd dispersed, murmuring in shock. The atmosphere was heavy, the party's spirit dampened. I knelt to Lucas's level, brushing his tear-streaked face. "Hey, it's okay," I whispered, my voice shaking. "You are loved, and you are wanted. Don't ever forget that." Sarah approached, placing a comforting hand on my shoulder. "Everyone here knows the truth, Sophia. We love Lucas, and we've got your back." I stood addressing the remaining guests. "Thank you for staying. This celebration is about family, Lucas's family. And family isn't just about blood. It's about love and support." The music started again, softer this time, and Lucas's friends quickly pulled him back into the festivities. Slowly, the shadow of the earlier incident began to lift, replaced by laughter and warmth. "Thank you, Sarah," I said quietly, my voice thick with emotion. "Just doing what's right," she replied. "Lucas deserves all the happiness we can give him." Mark and I exchanged a look, a silent promise passing between us. No matter what it took, we would protect Lucas. The aftermath of the party rippled through the community like a shockwave. Word of Linda's behavior spread quickly, and support for Lucas poured in from friends and neighbors. In our kitchen the next morning, I sat across from Mark, anger simmering beneath my exhaustion. "Can you believe what your mother did?" I asked, my voice low but fierce. Mark rubbed his temples, looking worn. "I can't, Sophia. I just can't understand how she thought that was okay. We need to do something. We can't let her get away with this," I said, my mind racing. Together, we devised a plan. Not to take Linda to court, but to expose her for the person she truly was. With the help of Sarah, we started sharing our story with family and friends. Social media lit up with messages of support for Lucas and widespread condemnation of Linda's outdated, harmful views. Meanwhile, I began a more covert operation. I knew Linda often ranted about family purity during phone calls, so I decided it was time the world heard her true thoughts. "Linda," I said during one call, feigning curiosity, "some people at the party were saying you might have a point. Maybe you could explain it to me again." She took the bait, her tone smug. "It's simple, really. Bloodline is everything. You can't just bring someone from the outside and expect them to fit in. These adopted children, they dilute our heritage." I recorded every word, knowing this would be vital. After weeks of gathering evidence, Mark and I prepared to confront her publicly. At a family gathering, Linda arrived as expected, wearing her usual air of superiority. But as the evening unfolded, whispers of discontent spread among relatives who'd heard rumors of her behavior. When the moment was right, I connected my phone to the sound system and pressed play. "You can't just bring someone from the outside and expect them to fit in." Linda's voice echoed, every word cutting like a knife. Gasps filled the room. Linda froze, her face paling as her own words condemned her. She tried to interrupt, but I played another recording. "These adopted children, they dilute our heritage." The room erupted in murmurs of shock and disgust. Linda's composure crumbled, her eyes darting around in search of allies. None came. As her own words condemned her, Linda stood frozen, her mouth opening and closing as she scanned the room for any support or sympathy. None came. Even those who had remained neutral or silent before couldn't ignore the blatant hatred and bigotry now exposed so plainly. "How could you say these things, Mom?" Mark's voice broke the silence, his disappointment palpable. "I was just concerned for the family," Linda stammered, her usual composure crumbling under the weight of the confrontation. "Concerned by isolating a child? By spreading hate?" I countered, stepping forward. "This isn't concern, Linda. It's prejudice." The room remained heavy with tension, the last of the recordings fading into silence. Relatives who had once greeted her warmly now turned their backs, whispering amongst themselves, their expressions a mixture of anger and sadness. As Linda looked around, the realization of her alienation sank in. Her face crumpled, and though she moved as if to speak, perhaps to justify or apologize, no one was interested in hearing more. One by one, the family members shifted their attention to Lucas, surrounding him with kind words and warm gestures. Linda, now a pariah within her own family, left the house without another word. Her departure was marked not by the dramatic outburst she might have hoped for, but by a profound, heavy silence. After she was gone, Mark took my hand, squeezing it gently. "Thank you," he whispered, "for standing up for our son, for standing up for our family." "It had to be done," I replied, watching Lucas laugh, blissfully unaware of the storm that had just passed. Secure in the love and acceptance of his true family, he radiated happiness. That night, as the house quieted and the last of the relatives left, we sat with Lucas, holding him close. Our little family had grown stronger, bound by love and resilience. We had faced ugliness head-on, and in doing so, we had ensured that love, not blood, defined us. The confrontation marked a turning point. The backlash drove Linda to move away, her presence no longer casting a shadow over our lives. With her gone, we rebuilt our family's foundation stronger than ever. Lucas flourished, his laughter becoming a constant melody in our home, and the love within our household deepened. One afternoon, as I watched Lucas chase a butterfly in the yard, I felt the depth of our bond. "You know, Lucas, no matter what anyone says, you are loved beyond measure. This will always be your home," I said, my voice steady with conviction. "I know, Mom," Lucas replied, his eyes bright with certainty. "I love you and Dad so much too." Linda faded into a distant memory, but the lessons she left behind lingered. We learned the importance of standing firm against toxic influences and reinforcing the values of inclusivity and love within our family and community. As Lucas's laughter filled the air, I knew we were stronger for the challenges we had faced. Love was our greatest defense, a bond unbreakable and unwavering. And now a question for you. Do you think it's ever justifiable to cut a family member out of your life if their beliefs fundamentally oppose your own, especially when those beliefs harm others? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this story if it resonated with you and subscribe to the channel for more powerful tales that inspire, challenge, and connect us. Thank you for watching.